Hello, my name is Oriaifo. I'm a Doctor of Nursing practice student in psychiatric mental health nursing at Brandman University. The theory I'm going to be talking about today is the theory of self-care. The theory of self-care was developed by Dorothea Orem in 1971. The theory emphasized that an individual has the natural ability to be responsible for his or her own self-care to achieve self-reliance, dependence, maintain life, and well-being. She also views the individual as responsible for others who are dependent upon him. She also believes the individual has the right to make a choice in relation to his or her own health. Based on this theory, one can deduce that man has the potential to develop the skills and motivation required for self-care, and that the goal of nursing is to work in collaboration with an individual to assume responsibility for his or her own self-care in order to sustain life and health, unless the individual is wholly compromised. This assumption is also in line with Healthy People 2020 objective on health-related quality of life and well-being. Going on, Dorothea Orem's theory has three major constructs: the theory of self-care, the theory of self-care deficit, and the theory of nursing system. As she explained, a self-care deficit occurs when nursing is needed to provide patients with the kind of care they need because they are unable to do so due to certain limitations. The nursing systems describes how the patient's self-care needs can be met by the nurse, the patient, or both. This could be direct or indirect care to compensate for self-care activities the client cannot perform. The theory went further to discuss three types of nursing systems, namely wholly compensatory, partially compensatory system, and supportive educative. The wholly compensatory system refers to the client who cannot participate in his or her care, for example, a comatose patient or a newborn. The partially compensatory system allows for collaboration of both the nurses and the client's needs and abilities. For example, assisting a patient who is partially weight-bearing to ambulate after a knee replacement surgery. The supporting educative system teaches the client how to practice self-care or therapeutic self-care. For example, teaching patients how to monitor their blood sugar levels and administer insulin through a written demonstration comes under this system. So to illustrate Dorothea Orem's theory, I have a case example. Mrs. Sam was a 42-year-old African-American female who was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. She was admitted to the inpatient psychiatric unit by her family physician. The family physician reported that she has become increasingly despondent over the past month. She was unable to attend to her basic personal care needs. She was endorsing suicidal ideation and by feelings of hopelessness and worthlessness. A recent trigger for Mrs. Sam was losing her job of 25 years as a finance executive after which she began to decompensate. At home, her husband reported that she was unable to attend to her basic care needs. She was more withdrawn, she isolated herself, and she ate very little, even with prompting. Therefore, in applying Dorothea Orem's theory to Mrs. Sampson's situation, we can use the nursing process of assessment, diagnosing, and intervention. We knew Mrs. Sam was in a state of self-care deficit. Her ability for self-care was impaired, as evidenced by her unable to attend to her personal care needs and hydration needs. The theory was useful to help identify Mrs. Sam's needs for self-care and work in collaboration with Mrs. Sam. By working in collaboration with Mrs. Sam, she began to achieve maturity and gradually participate in her self-care activities of grooming and eating. And she began to participate in her treatment plan. And as such, her self-worth and independence was being restored. After about 3 weeks, she was observed to take responsibility for her self-care needs. As such, taking responsibility is what Dorothea Orem talks about in her self-care theory model. And for Mrs. Sam, she was seen to progress from a wholly compensatory system to a partially compensatory system, which goes further to reinforce Dorothea Orem's theory. And these are my references, and thanks for listening. Thank you.